recording before I forget. There we go. So you got to the Rock of Brow last time, and you began exploring the city. I'm trying to remember what you actually did in terms of going around there. You went to Large Luigi's, where you met Commodore Crux at the Happy Beholder, and he basically said to you that he hated the Xerixians and was willing to help you, and you talk on his ship. And I don't know what else you did. I don't think you did an awful lot last session.
Didn't we get assaulted going back to the boat?
You
Beanie
did,
died.
yes, yeah, and that was the main sort of part of the session, was the combat as the Xerixians ambushed you back at the docks, and unfortunately Commodore Crux and Vina died at the docks. So I'll move this over to here, and we can deal with the aftermath of that situation. Turn up my volume a little bit. So, in the streets of the Rock of Brow, there is a significant crowd that has formed as you were ambushed by the Xerixian Empire, the elves, the astral elves. With the help of the common folk of the Rock of Brow, you repelled the unpopular figures, slaying them, but not before your friend and ally were both cut down by the vicious elves as they stood on the docks. Crowds gather surrounding the local area of shops. People rise up from their seats where, even in a distance, they may have been sipping on coffee or enjoying a meal, and suddenly, with all the commotion, people have started moving closer and closer to this commotion as the bodies of Xerixians and the bodies of your companions lie scattered around the entire situation. At the end of last session, I described a tiefling pirate-looking figure, a member of Commodore Crux's crew, rushes to his body and cradles his head. Her tears streak down her face. The scene is... there is chatter, but it's almost silent as you're caught directly in the middle of it. How does each of you react to this situation? Let's start with Barnabas.
Barney's looking real worse for wear. He went down many times. We did do all the injury stuff, right?
I'm not going to do injury checks anymore because Kieran and me had a conversation about it a while ago, saying we both sort of didn't really find it that fun, and Hannah said to me separately that I think especially for this campaign that is in general more lighthearted. I think I'll only do sort of injury stuff if you actually maybe die and come and then are brought back or something, or I think. But for now, just for going unconscious, I'm not going to run the standard injury checks as we were running them.
Okay. Well, I think Barney's feeling pretty punch drunk after the beating that was taken. So I don't think he'd be taking charge or saying anything in particular. He'd just be kind of looking down at the fallen.
What about Rulara?
I mean, I know she was right at the back, but I think she would definitely come up more to the main section of the scene and try and check on Vina. But
yeah, her body's cold. She's bruised, and a deep wound sits in her chest, and the life has just left her eyes as beautiful pale skin just lies there almost reflected in the stars of wild space above. How does Rohan react, Kieran?
Rohan would sort of try and be like, "We gotta get out of here!" And he'd start dragging Vina across the floor.
Yeah, and you all see Rohan move up alongside you, Relara, and he reaches down to Vina and starts kind of pulling her in the direction of the... what was the name of your ship again? I've got it listed there.
Moon Dancer.
The Moon Dancer.
Yeah, Rulara would adjust the density of Vina, make her easier to carry, so it's not just dragon.
Yeah, and you see Rulara, you start to conjure your graviturgy magic as it makes her form slightly lighter as Rohan starts dragging her closer to the ship. As this scene is unfolding, the crowd formed around you, you're centered in the middle, Rohan dragging the now slightly less heavy, lifeless form of Vina in the direction of the Moon Dancer. You start to see a number of heavily armoured figures start surrounding the area. They do not bear the same sigils and armour as the Xerixians did before, the red and the gold, but in fact it's more of a teal sort of sky-ish blue that's mixed with light kind of pinks and silvers, all in a very fantastical and high fantasy looking appearance, with these sort of heavily horned helmets at the top of them, all wielding long swords and various different weaponry. One of them sort of starts pushing through the outside of the crowd, and more start pushing into the centre, ushering the crowds away from the commotion as they enter the scene. These figures look down at you, and Rohan pulling the body of Vina. They look quizzical. And upon seeing the bodies of the Xerixians, these figures clearly look very concerned. Who has the highest insight score for me?
Nope.
+6.
+6.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
-1.
In that case, then, Rohan, can you roll an insights check for me? 23, very good. Rohan, you see these figures. You all start to get the idea that these probably look like they might perhaps be the Royal Guard. Rohan, you notice that these figures, they don't only just look concerned over the situation. I think all of you can probably tell that. The look on their face is very much of a shocked kind of, well, oh shit kind of thing. But Rohan, as you sort of look up from pulling the body of Vina, you sort of realise that they're not only concerned for the presence of the bodies and the situation, but you also begin to think this might indicate some kind of diplomatic incident.
Oh. Well. He's going to be like, out of the way! We got to get in a boat!
One of the guards, as you say that, puts a hand up and says, "Hold up, citizen."
I'm not a citizen. I don't live here. I'm a free man. I'm just a tourist. You know what I mean? And this is my dead friend. She was not a citizen either. So your laws do not apply. Now out of my way, man.
He shakes his head and just says, "You're clearly involved in this incident, and I will need you to remain here for the moment until backup can arrive."
On whose authority, man?
On authority of Prince Andrew. Of
I don't even know who Prince Andrew is. I thought he was at Pizza Express. No.
Why did they call him Prince Andrew? It's so annoying. I was going to rename him, but in all the fucking notes, it's still down. And I was like, I'm not editing all this and forgetting constantly. It's far too annoying. Yeah, he holds his hand up. And are you going to do anything to try and get past this guard? Or are you going to...
He's not going to try anything violent. He's gonna.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me.
He's gonna quickly draw out his tinderbox and be like, "Yeah, documents." Flash them and put them back in his bag.
The guard, in fact, as he sees you reaching for your tinderbox, assumes you're reaching for a weapon, and pulls a sword and says, "I will not see any more violence committed this day."
Yes, you should have turned up earlier then, man, because my friend's dead.
Please wait a moment, citizen. As the guard, you can see as this guard is kind of like holding you off, Rohan. There are a number of other guards that are kind of there. You see a number of guards pulling sending stones. You'd recognise out of their bags and saying something into it, but they're at a distance, and the crowd is making enough chatter that it's almost impossible to make out at this distance. Do any of the Barney or Rulara, do you react in turn with Rohan, or are you just sort of letting him lead the situation?
Weren't we trying to move quickly back to the ship before we were interrupted? Or not?
You sort of were. You were going to speak with... you weren't necessarily quickly. You were going to speak privately with Commodore Crux, because he felt like that there were ears all over the Rock of Brow, of the Empire, and he thought, well, the only place you can speak is really privately aboard his ship, where he knew that he wasn't being listened in, or at least at like a public place, like a pub. He did not feel comfortable discussing having any kind of involvement with you against the Xerixians going forward until we could speak to you privately. So that was the sort of more, rather than haste.
Barney he respects authority. He would be waiting.
What about you, Rulara? Is Hannah there?
Sorry, Jackie came in. What did you say?
Would Rulara be reacting at all to, or like sort of helping Rohan as Rohan kind of argues with this guard at the front as he's sort of holding Vena's sort of slightly floating body? He's kind of like you see Rohan kind of try and like pull out this tinderbox and flash these papers in front of this guard, and then the guard kind of starts panicking and pulls a sword, and there's kind of this little kind of like kerfuffle between them as Rohan's like, "They're just papers, man," and this guy's like, "Don't do anything violent."
Did Barney do anything? Did Barney do anything?
Barney is currently just watching on, observing the situation. He seems, I imagine Barney is currently sort of on one knee. He's sort of holding himself up by his, obviously even on one knee, Barney still probably towers over you, but he's sort of holding onto his walking stick, and he's kind of still quite clearly feeling the wounds of battle.
Yeah. I think she's mostly just she's mostly letting Rohan lead it, but also like looking back at the ship to see if she can see the others like anywhere near.
You're too far currently.
Yeah.
There's no sign of the rest of your party at this moment in time.
Okay.
As Rohan is arguing with this, Rulara is kind of peeking above the crowd as best she can, but her short stature is not really enough to make out any significant signs, and Barney kind of just keenly listening to the authority of the royal guard, whilst Rohan kind of argues amongst with this particular guard about how he's not a citizen. Suddenly, there's a big flash in the middle of this circular area that's currently surrounded by a crowd, and this magical door in space, this like long rectangular shape, like just pure like purple light of the outline of a door appears literally in the space just above you in the center, and it opens, and you see this stereotypically elderly court wizard steps through and kind of just drops about 2 feet to the ground. He looks quite irritated and is kind of sort of dusting himself off as he sort of picks himself up from sort of dropping 2 feet to the ground, and kind of looks at the guard that Rohan is arguing with, and just sort of, Barney, you see him like roll his eyes, and then he kind of looks around at the bodies of the Xerixians and Commodore Crux and Vina and this tiefling who's sort of crying as she what's the word? Is it shoulder the head of Crux in her arms, and his mood sort of softens slightly. You see one of the guards sort of moves out from the crowd and says, "Pro-council, there's been an incident," and the wizard kind of just slaps him around the face slightly, and just says, "Of course there's been an incident. I am not stupid, you petulant child." And he's like, I'm sorry, Pro-council. What should we do?" He says, "Secure the area, child." And then kind of like shoos them away. He says, "Go on, be quick." And he says, "Yes." And then he starts like calling out commands to different of these guards around the area, and some of them start sort of shepherding the guards away, and some of them are kind of making a like perimeter and making sure no one can like make a mad dash for their ship or anything like that. Some of the guards are clearly sort of rounding up any witnesses, things like this. The old man looks around the party. Can I just all have you quickly roll a charisma check for me?
Rohan's just completely drenched in sweat.
Yeah, Rohan, you're just completely covered in sweat as you kind of turn around. Your scruffy beard is just kind of all over the place. Your hair is kind of just after being knocked down and brought back during the fight, you're definitely looking worse for wear, and Barney, not on one knee, is not quite looking his usual commanding captain self. So Rulara, this old elderly wizard with this long white beard and a little kind of hat with stars upon it and very Merlin-esque looking, kind of walks up to you and kind of prods you in the chest and says, "Are you the leader of this merry little band, child?"
She kind of briefly looks over to Barney. I'm not, but might be best to speak to me for now.
Very well. And are you responsible for... And he kind of looks around at the various bodies of the Xerixians here.
A few of them. I assume that...
A few of them. Interesting. Well, I'm going to need all of you to come with me then. Can I expect any resistance, child?
Can I ask for what reason?
You are involved in the murder of a number of citizens aboard the Rock. There is no other reason I need to give you.
It was only defence.
Yes, we shall determine your guilt in time. Roll an insight check if you want, Rulara.
I do want.
It's quite hard to read this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really get much from that. He just clearly seems someone who's following his job. How do you react? Bring your party together.
Okay. Just debating whether or not to bring the rest of them. Probably not.
He's asking for just the three of you.
Okay.
He's indicating you all to like join in the center before him, and you already can see he's starting to like trace some sigils in the air.
Yeah,
She's
Barney
kinda-
would join.
Yeah, she's gonna join, but she will say, "Can you at least do something with our friend?" What's Davina?
Make a persuasion check, and this check's quite important. So, if anyone wants to contribute to trying to convince this proconsul to this wizard to try and like bring Vina with him, then this is the time. So you can either each make persuasion checks if you like, or you could all contribute to a singular persuasion check, or you tell me how you want to react to this situation.
Yeah, Barney would say she fought with great honor and helped to defend us and the people here from the Xerixians. She deserves to be treated with respect.
And she's one of our party as well, so she's gotta come with us. Alive or dead. Mostly dead, though.
Okay. In that case, then each of you make a persuasion check.
What way?
Natural 1 for Rulara. Not a good
Hey.
start. A 6 for
yeah.
Barney.
Do we still have
And a 10. Do you still have what?
inspiration?
The bank of inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, them still.
I got one.
Yeah, use it if you've got it. That's what it's there for.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Fuck.
Anyone else want to use inspiration, or have they not got it?
Rohan likes her, but she also stole his bed, so no.
It's true.
I used all of mine. Mine are all tapped out.
Okay. A maximum of a 10.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, is not enough then. And the wizard looks down, irritated at her, and says, "She's already dead. She's of no use."
Well, at least bury her somewhere nice.
Barney's gonna pick up her body and hold it in his arms, best he can with his cane.
Do me an athletics check.
It's half weight.
That's fine. Okay, I'll adjust the DC slightly. 18. Yeah, you pull her body to your side, and the wizard says to you, "No, you'll have to leave the body here. I cannot transport all of you."
Oh god, I don't mind not going.
Why don't
Wizard? Were you not powerful enough?
Do an insight check.
What, me?
Anyone who wants to.
Let's do it with Big Boy. Say Big Boy.
You're rolling very bad today.
Oh yeah.
Really bad.
Is Barney
What?
rolling, or?
He's not rolling. He would just say, "Allow us 2 minutes to take her to our ship, then we'll accompany you. You can walk with us."
No. You are in custody of the royal palace. Please place her body back on the floor, and my guards shall deal with it.
Her, you mean?
Her. He just stares at you, Rohan.
That's better, man. Bit of respect.
He doesn't. Yeah, he clearly looks irritated by the whole situation.
Rohan's just going to be like, so what's this Prince Andrew about then? Why are we going to him?
What did you say? I didn't quite catch that.
What's this Prince Andrew about? Why are we going to him?
He's literally at this point. He's like not acknowledging you. He
I knew a guy in Undercliff Village. His name was Andrew as well. And he just keep talking.
Is Barney dropping the body?
Barney's not dropping her, but he would go to one of the places around where he can like put her down gently, so she's in like a state of sitting with her back against a wall or something. And he would shoot a glare at the wizard and call out to any bystanders and just say, "She defended all of you against the Xerixians. See that she is treated with respect."
Yeah, one of the crowd sort of says, "We'll look after her. Don't worry. We've got your back."
Right. Then yeah, he would
Mhm.
he would leave her there.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you guys are going to be able to save Vina. There wasn't a chance of saving her there with
Yeah.
that persuasion check, but unfortunately, you did bad, yeah. So as you stand there, then looking quite defeated, you see the wizard traces more sigils in the air, and then a circular sort of magical like rune almost appears at the bottom of all of your feet, including the wizard. And he says, what would he say? He'd say, "Stay still, children," and then clicks his fingers, and then suddenly you're completely removed from this scene. And you suddenly...
Whoa, man.
I'm in space.
Let me adjust my volume, because for some reason it's really quiet. Okay, better. So you now find yourselves, each of you, in a comfortable, well-lit luxury room with a number of comfortable sofas, those kind of types you might see in a like therapist's office. I forget what they're called. Like leather, sort of a light kind of salmon pink coloured leather sofas. You see there are lavish mosaic rugs all over this very large room that's probably sort of at least 25 feet across. There are chandeliers that hang from the ceiling, and there's a large fountain that runs a trickling blue kind of shiny water at the back of the room. There is a set of double doors sort of not far in front of you, a large set of mosaic carved doors. There is no sign of the wizard. How do each of you react?
Rohan would be like, "Oh, I get it. I'm dead. That guy killed us." And he's going to start, "Oh, heaven's a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be, that's for sure."
Calm down.
You'd
don't
start
think
looking
this
for
is
some food. Is there any food?
As you look around the room, there does seem to be a small bowl of these like circular, like probably the size of like just bigger than a walnut. They look a bit like the texture of walnut, but they're much more spherical.
Walks up to it and grabs one. He's like, "Ah, ambrosia, food of the gods."
Do you bite into it?
Yes.
You take a big bite into this small walnut-like object, and it crunches into this gooey kind of sour, almost like meaty kind of interior. you sort of bite into it and pull it. Do you keep eating it, even though it doesn't taste bad, but it's just kind of like a bit sour and it's a bit odd. The texture's quite odd for what you were expecting.
Rohan would start freaking out, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm in the nine hells, aren't I? This is the dream!" And he throws it down and just starts sitting next to the table, rocking back and forth.
Rohan, you've seen Rulara move people around. This is just a bigger, fancier version of that.
Yeah, just a higher level spell. One that I can't quite learn.
Give me a minute, man. I'm still having an existential crisis.
Can't say I'm impressed by their system here on the rock.
Yeah, Stammer Pink. What's up with that?
Can't even take a moment to honor the fallen.
No, it was all quite quick, wasn't it?
They had us ambushed.
Good. And Vina.
She died because of our sloppiness.
Yeah.
As you're talking, I would say another thing you do notice about this room, Barney, you're probably the first to notice it with your pure height. Is your eyes going to move upwards, and you see there's this glass dome that's lowered from the top of the ceiling, and there's this. Let me get a picture just so I can describe it, because I'm not very good describing without pictures. It's this like dark-skinned man, but like his whole entire form is like wispy. He has no legs. They like all just turn into this like wispy kind of sort of black smoke. He's got sort of like these wispy horns that come off the top of him. He's got like a small waistcoat and these two kind of sort of gold bands around the ends of his arms, and he's just sort of like floating in this dome, and it's like slightly too small for him. If anything, he's quite sort of like large, and he's sort of like squashed into this dome and is kind of just like moving around the bottom of it, his eyes just kind of looking at you.
We're not alone here, friends.
It's Vina there.
He tapped Rohan's shoulder.
Vina's not there though.
Okay.
Tap Rohan's shoulder and point at the thing in the dome. The guy in the dome.
Oh, look very good.
Yeah, you can all see it.
Hello?
Staring down at you. It doesn't respond. It just like its eyes are very like white and like quite large and sort of almost bug-eyed. They're very like keenly watching you.
Is it a spell? Does it look like a spell?
Feel free to do an Arcana check if you like, or a Nature check. You're not sure, Rulara? You're rolling real fucking bad today, I will say that.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got no idea.
Rohan's just going to stare back at it for as long as he can.
Yeah, it meets your gaze, Rohan, and is watching you like I said, really bug-eyed. It's almost like its eyes are almost cartoonish in their appearance, and they've really just like it never blinks. It's just like continuously just staring into your eyes. Sometimes they dart around to Rulara and Barney if you make any sort of movement, but they are very carefully watching you.
Did you say there was a door in here?
There is. There's a large set of double doors, mosaic carvings run along all the outside of them. You can see there's like a crystal knob on each of the doors.
Do they look magical?
Do an Arcana check for me if you'd like. 25, 100%. They do look like they have like a magical essence about them. The entire door seems to. But the 25, I'd say even there's there seems to be kind of a magical essence about this entire room. There's lots of little odd trinkets around the room, all that seem to kind of exude little bits of magic. There's like as you can see, like in a placard above the sort of the back part of the room, just next to the fountain. There's like this ancient arrow of like elven design that you can see, kind of just like observing. You're like, oh, that seems like it might be magical.
Are there any magical objects she would recognise?
I wouldn't say anything you recognise specifically. No, it seems like a very fancy room. So there's lots of different things you could observe in here. If you took some time looking around, you could see that there's like a part of the wall where like it like sticks out, and there's like a shelving. It's like almost like a shelf, but it's not. It like curves down into like I don't know what it's called, but into like a part of the wall that's kind of all like carved with different like mosaic patterns, but it comes up into like a sort of shelving kind of section at the top, and there's lots of different things on here. There's like you see like an old rusted key. There's like a clear glass bottle with like a dead sprite inside. There's like a bronze pentacle with an etching of a rat's head in the center. There's like a huge tooth from an unknown beast. There's lots of sort of random kind of, or seemingly random objects that kind of lie throughout this large room. I'd say the room is very brightly lit, and I would say as well, it's very like white, and the walls are almost perfectly white.
Rohan wants to try and freak this thing out.
How are you going to do so?
He's going to wild shape into a cow.
Okay, so you go to attempt to wild shape into a cow, but the rest of you watch as Rohan goes to like assume the form of his usual shape, and instead of a cow, suddenly you see Rohan shifts and he just turns into this fish, this like guppy that's just kind of floating there, just sort of like not moving. Rohan, you can sort of like you thought you were going to be a cow, and now you're like a space guppy.
Can he fly around?
You can, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to start, testing out his new flying abilities as the fish.
I'll post little pictures here. It looks like a sort of a three-eyed, like goldfish. This is what he looks like. I'll post it in Discord.
Oh, awesome!
Nice.
Yeah, he's just swimming about, doing loop-de-loops.
Quite the room they've put us in. Full of magical items and weird things. I wonder what the purpose is. This doesn't seem like the normal type of questioning room.
Purpose is surely to befuddle us and throw us off and make us feel small and foolish.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, when he says that, Rohan will just be doing like backflips and stuff.
Can Rulara try and open the door?
Yeah, as you go to the door, it's very clearly locked.
Yeah. Magic. Spell magic?
Do you have that spell?
I do. But I don't know how many spell slots I've got left.
You don't know
I don't
how
think
many.
I used many. Well, it only says I've used 2. Which is possible. I might have been using the 1 the whole time. I don't really remember.
Well, we'll go off what your character sheet says. I think that's the most accurate reflection. Otherwise, I have no idea. The spell, you go to cast it and it just fizzles out.
Yeah.
You do lose the spell slot.
Yeah. Picked it off. Doesn't seem like my magic's working in here either.
Do an Arcana check for me, Brulara. It's not a very high DC based on your background, and yeah, 22. But you get the impression that this room's probably under the effect of an anti-magic field.
Hmm. Do you know what an anti-magic field is, Barney?
I like the sound of it.
Thought you might. Well, I think we might be in one. Which means I'm going to be of no...
Oh, did I lag out? I think I've lagged out. Fuck's sake.
It lasts now.
Oh, I don't know actually. Look,
Sorry, I lagged out.
3 hours.
Nice. Yes, hello.
Hello, what were you doing last time? I can't remember what you were saying now. I think you were talking to Barney about anti-magic field last time I heard.
Yep. She was just,
Barney-
yeah.
Yeah, Barney was told and has decided that people here are being very rude, leaving them in this room, and so it's justified him trying to break down the door.
Yeah,
He's going to slam himself into it.
make me a athletics check.
Uh,
You slam against the door and your large fists clearly sounding on it very loudly. But this door you can feel is very, very heavy, Barney. It looked like it would take the strength of at least 2 gift to break it down.
Ooh.
He'll just hammer on the door with his fist and say, "Now listen, this is outrageous. We've done nothing wrong. You're treating us like criminals."
How long would Barney keep doing this? Because he gets no response immediately.
He wouldn't keep on doing it. He'd just be grumpy and turn around with his back to the door.
Rulara go and inspect the eyeballs.
The what? Sorry.
The thing that's looking at us.
Oh yeah, I mean you can look up at it. It's staring back at you, just looking down at you. This creature.
What if I climb up there and cover its eyes?
You wouldn't be able to exactly cover its eyes because it's in like a glass dome. So you could like block it from you initially, but it would just like move to the right and sort of look round your hands at you.
Put a blanket over it.
Yeah, because it's like hanging from the top of the ceiling, you'd have to like stick it on there somehow. So unless you've got some glue and a blanket on you. And if you did, you certainly could do that though.
I don't.
Meanwhile, Rohan is just sort of rotating the room as the space guppy, just doing little backflips, going back and forth.
Trying to keep himself occupied.
Yeah. So about an hour passes in the room. You trying different things, observing different objects. There's currently no one come to see you. After the first hour, does anyone do anything else?
I think Rulara's just looking at all the objects still.
Yeah.
Would that hour count as a short rest?
Absolutely, yeah. You can all take a short rest. Yeah, there's lots of different objects. There's a glass eye you see. There's an empty silver snuff box bearing an inscription at the surface that says dreams. There's some really fancy looking like art objects in here as well. that look like they're probably worth a significant amount of money. There's like a gold dragon comb set with red garnets as eyes. There's
What if she looks at the thing, picks up a very expensive item, and throws it on the ground?
It just keeps watching you. Doesn't react, just keeps looking at you like, ooh. It's big, just sort of big. Well, there's still big bug-eyed expression. It looks very kind of, like I said, very cartoonish, and it's kind of like huge, bulging white eyes with like little kind of black dots in the center for pupils.
This is why you can never trust a wizard or magic user. No offense, Rulara, or tiny Rohan.
Rohan has got bored of being a fish. Turns back. He's like, I've got an idea.
Go on then.
He's gonna go up to the door. He's like, what? Starving! Oh! He's gonna keep doing that for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, see,
20 minutes.
you just see
Rular
Rohan.
just puts her fucking hands over her ears the whole time.
Rohan just starts screaming and banging on the door, creating this commotion for like 20 whole minutes. There's no response in 20 minutes.
Rohan, I can't anymore.
Oh, I know. Wait, watch this, everyone. He's gonna make sure the eyes are watching him.
That they are, yeah.
Maybe like, oh no! Tech! And he'd like collapse and...
You cut out for a second there.
What did you hear?
I just said,
And he's like, oh!
It keeps cutting you out when you're doing the voice.
Oh no, man! I'm having a heart attack! And then he would like just fall on the floor.
Yeah, the thing, it just keeps watching you, just these huge bug eyes. It doesn't react to anything you're doing. It's just it's just watching you.
Can he do a performance check for his own? I don't know how well he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're describe to me how well you're performing with your 14.
He's got his tongue out. He's just on the floor, completely unmoving. And he's going to stay there for 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay, what is everyone doing over the course of these 2 hours as Brohan just lays there?
Barney would... I think initially he probably would have joined in and been like, oh yeah, great idea. Help, please, my friend, he's dying. But eventually would have given up and just is kind of confused by Rohan still lying there the whole time.
And I see Rulara's going to smash the glass eye.
Yeah, sorry, I was waiting for everyone to leave the shed. Go away.
Um,
Oh, shit, I can't remember.
but you can just type to reply, Hannah. It's fine. Yeah, you smash it on the floor. The figure at the top does kind of swoop around faster and stares at you, but it doesn't do anything apart from just keep staring at you.
Oh, okay. Dunno. What's with these like carvings? Is there any like anything that like matches these carvings in items or anything? Or
Not particularly. It just seems like a pretty standard mosaic design.
Guess we're gonna be here forever. Just kind of starts practicing, see if she can try and make her cantrips work.
Yeah, so another hour passes, Rohan lying on the floor with his tongue sticking out, pretending to have had a heart attack. Barney, I imagine, is probably sat down at this point in a kind of resignated kind of look upon his face, whilst Rulara keeps trying to conjure up these cantrips in a frustrated attempt to demonstrate her magic. After another hour, you suddenly hear the doors unclick. And one of the double doors opens, and you see two Royal Guard members, pretty much similar to the appearances I described before, with the teal and pink armor. And then you see this more central figure, slightly shorter, is wearing similar coloured armor, but more with like more regalia on it, and they have a bald head. They've got like the armor is like sleeveless, so it's and their arms are completely sleeveless. They are covered in like snake tattoos that are just completely adorning her arms and all up to the top of her head. She sort of enters the room, and you see the two guards behind like bring in this like big sort of mahogany sort of table, and they like plunk it down in the middle of the room, and then two of them sort of walk back out, and she stands at the other side of the table whilst they bring like a big sort of chair and just sort of slide it in behind her. She sits down. They leave the room and they lock the door behind her. Is there anything you do whilst this is happening?
Rohan's still pretending to be dead.
Barney's just glaring, squinting, tiny little hippo eyes.
Rilla sort of walks up and we've been waiting in here for ages. You only just now come in and you don't say anything?
I was busy
As
making preparations. I apologize for keeping you waiting.
How much longer?
How do you mean?
Well, we need to get back to our crew.
As long as it takes.
And how long's that?
I suppose we shall see. I am Captain fuck's sake, his name's hard to pronounce. Mahazara Kal. I am the captain of the Royal Guard to House Kozar. I have been sent to question you about what you know, and who you are, what you are doing on the Rock of Bral, and your involvement with the incident that happened at the docks only hours ago. Please,
Seems like you know all the questions already. Why have we not just been asked?
I told you I was predisposed.
And now?
And now I am ready to question you. So please, if you'd all like to take a seat and get your friend off the floor. He's making quite the scene.
Rohan's going to stay on the floor. He's trying to convince me he's actually dead. It's gone too long now.
Yeah. This person's pretty perceptive and can quite clearly see that you're not dead.
Yeah, but he has to keep it going.
Oh,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
Rohan, it's a great impression, but I do think she knows. Kind of like taps his foot.
You can see this woman's very muscular, by the way. She's very like slightly tanned as well. She's she looks very athletic.
When he taps her foot, Rohan starts convulsing, and he's like, "Power of the moon brought me back!" When he goes down, sits on a chair.
That's an impressive moon power.
This is completely outrageous, madam. You waltz in here whenever you fancy it. We've just been stuck in a room without being warned or told. We weren't told we were waiting. We were just stuck here. We wondered if we were being incarcerated.
I apologize for your predicament, and I apologize that my cohort, Gaderick Main, did not explain the situation properly. I shall reprimand him as such, as needed.
Yes, well, you best see that you do. And what are we accused of exactly? Defending ourselves against awful attacking folk? Protecting the citizens of the Rock of Bral, perhaps?
Yeah, I only killed that guy because he tried to kill me. I'll do that to anyone, man.
So you are fighting with the Xerexians because they attacked you first, yes? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. She like goes down and has like pulled out like a notebook during this time while you've been speaking, and has an ink and quill and just starts writing something down.
Rohan, to be fair though, we did have beef with them. They did blow up they blew up our planet.
Yes, I'm aware of the incident upon Toril.
But man, we might have killed a bunch of them, but it's only because they started it. I would have if I could, I'd just say, hey, Zerixian, you want a cheeky toke on my cigarette? And he'd be like, yeah, man, and then it'd all be cool. But no, they don't. They say, you're gonna die. And I'm like, I don't really want to die, thanks. And they're like, well, you're gonna. And I'm like, hell no. And that's how it went down, yeah.
She kind of just looks at you, looks down at her book, makes some more notes, looks back up. What are your names? Are you all from Toril?
I'm from Undercliff Village.
She looks up at you, looks down, makes notes on her notebook.
God, I can't remember where I said Barney was from.
You would originally, Barney, be from the I haven't really come up with a name with it, so if you can think of a cool name of the Gift Fleet. The Gift Fleet is they've like abandoned their planet. The reason, again, I haven't really come up with why, but again, you can suggest stuff. But they've abandoned their planet for some reason, and they are all aboard this like massive fleet of ships that's all like together, and has basically become so large that it's created a gravity sphere of its own. An oxygen bubble or whatever, and a gravity sphere, so people can move between the ships.
And the GIF obsession with firearms is definitely a thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Black Powder Armada.
I am writing that down. Let me quickly write that down. The Black Powder Armada. That's fucking cool. Yeah, so you know that's where you're originally from. You don't know where the fleet currently is, the Armada is, because it moves around. Actually, do a history check, because this would have been a while ago, and it's also do a history and then a perception check. 4's bad, so you're gonna need a very high perception. 20. Okay. You don't know what they were talking about, so you have no idea what this is, but like before you left to join the academy, you did overhear like some officers amongst the Armada sort of hint that the Armada might be heading to a place called Doom Space, but you don't know what that is or where it is. You've never heard of it. And at the time, you were so like caught up in getting ready for the academy and moving to Toril that you were just like, whatever.
Yeah, he wouldn't tell her that. He'd just say, proudly, the Black Powder Armada.
She looks up at you and looks down and says, name?
Barnabaeus Mortrealm Eurydices the... Fuck. 7th.
She writes it down. Looks to you, Rohan. Name?
Rohan!
Rohan. Is that your only name?
Rohan. Well, depends who you ask, man. Got a lot of different names. Got Rohan the Moon River, Rohan from Undercliff Village, Rohan not from Waterdeep.
She's writing all of these down.
And you notice he's like, yeah, Rohan the defeater of planets. When he sees if she writes that down.
She's writing something.
Oh, it also says Moon Boy. I like that one as well. And operating assistant of the Moonhammer, friend of other people and the like. And I think that's about it.
She seemingly writes it all down, then looks to you, Rulara. Name?
Oh yeah, it's spelled Rohan. Rohan.
Thank you.
No problem, Missy.
Rilari, you would be from a place Funnily enough, since I just brought it up, you would be from a place called Doom Space, a planet that I cannot remember the name of right now, but I will look it up between sessions for you. But you are from a place in a place of wild space called Doom Space originally.
Okay. Doom Space. Yeah, I should probably just say that. I should probably know already.
Yeah, and you would name the planet. I will look it up in between sessions. And she writes it down. Would you say your name as well?
Yeah, I should say Rulara. No last name.
She writes that down as well. And she said,
Is Ickle here? Did he bring Ickle?
yeah, Ickle would be on your shoulder.
Yeah. If she doesn't ask, she's not going to say though.
No, she doesn't seem to pay much mind to the miniature giant space hamster.
What happened to Micken?
Last you saw, he was on the ship.
No, he's trying to do.
Ah, okay.
He's trying to do a joke. Well, not a joke, but
so he's trying to try and deceive
Well,
her.
yeah.
Do it.
But that's all he says though.
Okay, do a deception check for me. I just want to see if she.
Oh god, I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
No, it's not important, but
Yeah, didn't want to use it to save Vina, but did want to use it to deceive her.
he didn't really like Vina.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying. And as you make that joke, she kind of looks over to you, with like quite a what's the word? Quite a sharp kind of look, and you see one of the tattoos down her arm sort of slithers down it to the morpher close to her wrist.
Whoa, that was cool. As he looks at it, do it again.
She just stares at you for a second, looks down at her book, makes another little note, and she says, "What do you know of the Xerixian Empire?"
Oh, they're bad.
She writes that down. Looks to you, Barney.
What do you know of the Xerixian Empire, madam?
Do a persuasion check.
Pen.
I'm the one asking the questions. Please stick to your answers, and this will be over quickly.
They seem awful. They attacked us. They seem to have no value for the life of citizens.
She writes it down, looks to Rilara. Your pen is there.
I am here. I'm just lagging. I don't think she should say very much. Should just.
She's looking at you quite expectantly for a response, but you can choose to say nothing if you want.
They've not been friends to us, let's put it that way.
She writes that down. And what were you doing on the Rock of Brow?
Meeting a guy who, he was gonna lead us somewhere. He kind of looks around to the other two.
I will remind you, because obviously I know it's been a while, that you basically were coming to the Rock because it's the next most civilized place, and from Toriel, it's a place you only really need to go because I can't remember their name now. The fucking academy instructor, as they died. Let me just see what they were called. I do have it somewhere.
Oh,
Bosun Tarto told you to go to the Rock of Brow. But you would all know it's like the closest thing to Toriel. That's a place of civilization.
Dead captain told us to come here because it's a bastion of civilization.
She writes it down.
Despite our current circumstances.
Well, I like the salmon decorations. It's very nice. Don't get that in Undercliff Village.
She looks to you, Rohan, writes that down.
And then Rohan's like, yeah, write that down.
Civilized folk don't incarcerate people without telling them anything, and ridiculous. And who's this joker? And he points to the guy on the ceiling.
She just doesn't respond to you, none of any of your questions. And she looks to Rilara and says, "Is Mr. Moonboy's response accurate?"
Yeah, it's certainly accurate. We needed a place to come to after our one was destroyed.
Very well.
Even if,
She writes it down and she stands to her feet and says, "I believe that you have been honest with me in your assertions. You'll please get a moment to present yourselves correctly. The prince himself will meet with you now." And she turns around and the guards, she just had a quick rattle on the door with her hand and her fist, and the guards, you hear the door unlock, the two doors swing open. She just walks in between them as two guards come in and pick up the chair, move it back up, and then they bring in this much big fancier golden chair with really high back and kind of curls round, and is much more fancy than the previous one she was sitting in. Then the doors shut and then are locked again behind you, and you're left for about a minute on your own.
Would we have known about the house and the prince and such previously?
Do me a history check, see how much you know.
I honestly don't think Rohan would have.
Yeah, Rohan probably definitely not, unless he studied it at the academy.
No, it's not weird enough.
Jesus. 9.
Probably don't know much. Rilara knows the most. I'd say. Let me just have a quick look at my notes. Whoops. Rulara would know. How much would she know with a 14? She would know that the Rock of Brow was once a pirate refuge that was taken over by a man called Captain Brow, and then he died, and the city was named in his honor. And then after several decades, pirate captains, merchants and tavern keepers sort of made their livings in the rock and became as numerous as the pirates and brigands. And eventually, one of the pirate captains, a man named Kozar, sensed times were changing on the rock and that the days of lawlessness were coming to an end, and then made a number of strategic alliances and shrewd business deals, and sort of consolidated his political power and dubbed himself Prince Kozar, the rock's first overlord. And then in that time, there's been a long reign of different princes under in his bloodline.
Overlord, eh? Doesn't sound promising.
Yeah, is there anything you do in this minute as you sort of wait for the prince to arrive, or not?
Not really, but except for just looking around to see if she's brought any extra magical stuff.
No, she didn't bring anything into the room.
Okay. The chair.
No, the chair looked mundane.
Have we got our stuff on us?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, he's gonna get out. His whip.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be like, "It's a royal whip," and oh god, maybe we should take a present to the king. Maybe I can give him the cookbook because it's a pretty good gift for a king. But then again, I don't want to lose the recipes. I don't know what to do, man.
I'm in no mood to give them presents. They've been nothing but rude and awful to us while we've been here.
Oh,
Barney's gonna sit on the chair.
Don't worry, Barney.
What, the
I'm gonna
big chair?
Yeah, Barney's sitting on the big chair.
Yeah.
I've got a better present. It's gonna be a bit, like, ironic. I'm gonna go up and be like, hey everyone, this is the gift for the king. It's a merchant scale because he doled out justice.
Well, that goes well over my head, Rohan.
It's like, because it's like the scale of justice, and they may saw us be innocent, but still justice isn't done, so yeah.
Oh. Like you're pointing out their shortcomings.
But also, I'm still giving them a free scale.
Oh. Well, I'm sitting in this stupid chair.
So as you're discussing this, the doors click again, and the guards open the doors on either side, and you see this very regal-looking man come in. Quite pale skin, long blonde hair that sort of comes down to just below his chest. He's wearing a sort of like a crown, like a circlet. Atop his head, he's wearing sort of long, dark, sort of purple robes. He's got quite like a chiseled jaw. Very attractive kind of man. He walks in and he's like, "Oh, I do apologise for keeping you here so long and having you had to bear dealing with I can never pronounce his name, Mahazara, and I do apologise for keeping you all waiting. My name is Andrew. I am Prince Overlord, Prince Kozar of the Kozar family, here in Starhaven upon the Rock. It's a pleasure to meet the three of you." He kind of looks to you, Barney, like kind of.
Yes, well, listen, this whole routine has been a joke. We weren't consulted, we weren't told what we were charged with, we were incarcerated. Your wizardly companion left our, rest her soul, dead friend on the streets after we defended this place from evil attackers, and the people were with us. And, well, this is quite absurd, but the whole time he's like mouthing off, he slowly gets up and gets out of the chair.
The prince is like, "I must be incredibly apologetic to you. Since you mentioned Vina," he would say, "I can have any injured members or brought to my reposed chambers as a show of goodwill."
Well, I believe poor Vina has passed, not injured.
Well, the reposed chambers will keep her body intact. She it won't cure her. I do have a cleric that's currently off-world, but he will return at some point.
Oh, well, yes. Thank you. That would be greatly appreciated.
He sort of claps, and the guard sort of moves up to him, and he kind of like whispers in his ear, and he says, "Make sure it is done." And he says, "Yes, my lord." And he says, "I appreciate your honesty, and to my captain of the Royal Guard. She, I know she can be quite stern and cold, but she's very protective of me. You see, she wanted to personally evaluate each of you before I graced you with my presence, just to identify if there were any threats."
We understand, I suppose.
I suppose I should get to the meat of it, really, and why I've kept you in this room. I hope you. I see you helped yourself to one of the Rylar eggs. Did you enjoy them? They're a personal favourite of mine. Pointing down at the walnut.
I mean, where I'm from, Undercliff Village, that is, I prefer more of a potato. Do you have potatoes in your society?
Oh yes, we have many potatoes. I can I'm trying to think of a really posh potato dish. What would be a really posh potato dish, Kieran? You know more about food than me.
Like princess. Well, they used to be princess potatoes.
Yeah, he would say something along the lines of that. I can prepare what would be like a traditional meal that's posh with potatoes, like a cooked meal?
Or like potatoes aren't posh.
Yeah, he'd say something like that with princess potatoes and.
Oh, yeah, steak.
Yes, food can be arranged.
Well, that's nice of you. The eggs were great. I wouldn't mind having more of them.
Do a deception check for me.
I mean, not me, but our boat.
Okay, he just sort of smiles. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed them. I must say I do show a lot of sympathy. The Xerixians' aggression is can't say I'm quite surprised by their actions. Unfortunately, the reason I have had to keep you here is I have to discuss some diplomatic matters. You see, the gravity of the situation is you definitely see he looks like quite concerned. He says it's quite dire. You see, before the recent attack on Toril, Xerixians came to the rock and made their presence known to me. We had a diplomatic gathering of sorts, and I have quite a shaky agreement with them to not attack the rock as part of their destruction of Toril. Unfortunately, I promised them there would be no Xerixian blood would be spilt whilst on the rock, and unfortunately, due to your actions, you have jeopardized this agreement. Not that you were aware of it, of course.
Can't you just say we were terrorists and we went off-world or some shit?
I certainly could, but the Xerixians' aggression and the way, well, you've met them yourselves, they are likely to seek retribution for what has happened either way. I do not think there is any cooling their fiery dispositions at this point, and it has forced me to act fast. Let me say, I think it is, believes the time has come for me to form a coalition among the denizens of Doom Space in order to put a stop to the Xerixian Empire once and for all. He kind of looks around the room for your reactions.
I mean, Doom Space sounds pretty bad, man.
It's just another system. The name is worse than it sounds, although there is a dying star at its center.
Well, that's a big bummer, dude.
And why are you telling us this? Surely this sounds like something you should keep a secret.
Well, certainly, but my guard captain assures me that you are of good character and answered all the questions honestly. And since I need... well, I'll be honest, I need help in this matter. I need a task force of sorts to initiate this initiative and travel to Doom Space on my behalf and to unite, to form a coalition amongst its denizens and put a stop to the Empire once and for all. I do not wish to see the rock fall to their barbarous ways.
No.
How how powerful is the Xerixian Empire?
They are quite dangerous, as you see what they have done upon Toril itself. They have the ability to plant astral seeds, we have come to calling them, upon different planets. This is not the first time they've done this. They've done this on other places. We do not know why they are doing this. They attacked the region, this specific region near the rock, during my father's reign.
Well, does sound a grave threat.
Indeed,
But
it is.
Oh yeah. What happened to our boat? Is everyone fine?
I can assure you that your boat is secure and all of its members, its crew are unharmed.
Looks over at Barney, and he's like, "That's a relief for the little man might have got it."
That is a great relief. We will need to check in with them soon. They could be worried. But well, we are survivors of the Spelljammer Academy. We represent the great teachings and honorable purpose of the academy.
Yes, you're some of Mert's students, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, Mert.
He's a good man.
Yes. He saved our
He
lives.
is a good man. Or was a good man. Do you know something we don't know,
Well,
Mr. King?
I do not know if he perished upon Toril, but well, since it's Mert, it would not surprise me if he found a way to sneak off world. Wouldn't
You'll
be
be
the first time he's
surprised,
done
man.
so.
But he hired me personally. Snuck me out and all the that.
Well, this is excellent news. This only further increases my judgment of your excellent character.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we are just a humble crew. What possible purpose could you have for keeping us here? Surely you have great diplomatic negotiations to sort with your consulate, your professional ambassadors, and all that hullabaloo.
Well, like I said, I require a group to form this coalition in my name, and I have chosen to select the lot of you.
Barney kind of looks to Rulara and Rohan.
I mean, I would accept it. If anything, to help just to help. Well, I mean,
In return, I can promise you a single favour. You may ask for anything.
Wait, one favor each? Or one favor together?
Let us say one favour together for now, but I will also provide you some support from those in my inner circle before you leave. Does that sound agreeable? Ooh, did I lag out again? Ugh, this fucking internet.
we go.
Hello. Sorry, internet's
That's
playing
alright.
up a lot this evening. Sorry, go on.
I only just got to Barney's thing, and he said, would the cleric be able to bring back Vina from the dead?
Yes, that is a favor I can do as a group favor if you'd like.
Can't we get, like...
I can't promise how much time it will take. My cleric may not be back upon the rock for another month or so, but the reposal chambers will keep her body fresh until the magic can be casted.
Well, could you do anything about Toro instead? That place is fucked.
As you say that, do an insight, or all of you can do an insight check. He looks a little bit flustered by the fact that Rohan's asked you to deal with Toril itself. No, you guys are on it fucking terribly. No, you're not sure why. He looks a bit flustered and he says, unfortunately, I'm unable to provide any kind of direct support to Toril. This is the best I can do.
Alright.
Well, just knowing that Vina will be returned to us. She was unjustly felled.
Very good. Then, if you are agreeable, and he sort of holds out his hand towards you, Barney, then we can arrange this deal to be official.
Barney looks at Rulara and Rohan.
Yeah, you know, man, we got nothing else going on.
Seems like a good cause. Good way to get back at those blasted Xerixians.
They're just gonna come after us anyway, so we might as well go to the heart of the matter.
Indeed, get ahead of the game. We shouldn't be caught with our trousers down again.
See, Rulara is asking for a faster ship. The prince would say, I'm afraid I can only provide one favour, but I can perhaps, as part of preparing you, have a additional weapon fitted on board your ship. Perhaps an extra mangonel or a ballista.
Oh, can we have your best chef as well?
I'm afraid my only chef is predisposed at the moment. But you could certainly ask around the rock and I would give you my blessing. For what it's worth.
Sweet. Looks at Barney.
Well, if we're happy to agree to this, then yes. He holds out his hand.
He holds out his hand and shakes it and said, excellent then. Then the deal shall be that your friend will be revived and
At the earliest possible opportunity.
At the earliest possible opportunity, yes. As soon as my cleric returns, I shall see it done. And you shall travel to Doomspace and attempt to form a coalition amongst its denizens. However, travelling to Doomspace, and my guard captain tells me that one of you is from there. Looking at you, Rulara, and he says, as you know, the journey is through the astral sea is quite can be quite troublesome. You will need to require a map. So I will ask you to seek out an old friend of mine, a wizard named Topola. She lives in a lonely tower on an asteroid. She's both a wizard and a cartographer. Some would say she's a wizard at cartography. Her tower is
Very
at
good.
the very edge of this particular wild space system. If you seek her out, I'm sure she can provide a... Just tell her that I sent you, and I'm sure she can provide a suitable map to Doomspace. Very well. Well, it was quite lovely meeting all of you. I will allow you to have free passage of the rock as you prepare. Please also seek out my proconsul, Gaderick Main. I have commanded him to provide any help where he can. He is an excellent court wizard. He may be able to provide you with some magical assistance, or also check out my I feel like a prince wouldn't say that, but I'm sticking with it.
Check out my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I
Hit the
upload
button.
every Thursday.
Smash that like button, hit the bell. Yes, check out my master armorer, Millie Metalbreaker. I've asked her to provide you with some magical items. She has on board. She may be willing to part with some. And yes,
That's generous, thank you.
And of course, before you go, please don't forget to stop in at the Man of War, my favourite restaurant on the edge of Lake Bral. If you want a lovely meal, looking at you, Rohan, after you mentioned chef, says
As long as there's no Xerixians.
I think. Let's certainly hope not. I would keep your eyes peeled, although their more aggressive soldiers may have perished in the diplomatic incident earlier today. I would not surprise me if they still have spies, like all across the rock.
Definitely keep our eyes out then.
Oh, and the Royal Theatre Company is currently performing a version of How Krampus Stole Midwinter. Should be a lovely play. I want to get down there myself soon. If you wanted to check out that. But anyway, yes, it's been quite the pleasure meeting you. I shall bid you a good day. And he sort of stands and like bows before you, and sort of turns, and some guards rush in and pull the seat out from behind him, and he kind of turns around quite flamboyantly and leaves the room, and the guards now start pulling the chair and carrying the chair and the table out of there, and then a man comes out, like a man, like a balding man, a little bit older, probably in his late sort of 50s, quite like a big like long sort of crooked nose. He's wearing like these all black, quite tight Leotard kind of jumpsuit with like a big I forget what they're called, those big fancy like old fashioned Victorian era kind of those white ruffly things they used to wear around their necks, like Blackadder does and Blackadder 2. Completely forgot what they're called. One of them he's got on, and he sort of comes in and says, "Oh, good day. I have been told to escort you around Starhaven. Should you wish to visit any of its different areas? I am the royal butler. My name is Haskell."
Nice to meet you.
A pleasure, ma'am.
I think first of all we'd like to go to our ship, the Moon Dancer.
Yeah,
Right.
even before that, we kind of need to know who we're going to report to and how.
Yes, true. We're meant to be working for the prince, you see, and need to know what our contact method will be.
Of course, yes. And he will he'll like do a little whistle with both of his fingers, and he'll like a guard comes over with like a box, and he like passes the box, and he opens it up, and there's like a set of sending stones in there, and he passes you one, Barney, and says, "You can directly communicate with me should you need to. I shall inform the prince of any communications.
Barney picks it up like a smelly sock with his thumb and forefinger and slowly takes it over to Rulara.
Yeah, she just takes it with her eyebrow at you, Barney.
Ugh,
It's only a sending stone.
magical sending stone.
I would also
Awful.
recommend, if you want to visit any of the Prince's Inner Circle whilst in Starhaven, that you do it now, since the coming back and forth is not advised in such times, and the docks are on the other side of the rock, unfortunately, so it was quite a journey to come back and forth. But it is, of course, up to you. If you wish to leave now and not visit any of the Inner Circle, that is your prerogative. I lagged out again. Fuck me, this shit internet. Ugh, so I lagged out again.
16.
Sorry.
Ooh, 16. Guess Rohan's gonna be the face of the organization.
What was the last thing you heard?
That if we want to speak to the Inner Circle, we should do it now.
Yes, yeah.
Barney said he's interested in seeing the armorer, and I think Rulara wants to definitely see the magic vessel.
Okay. Are you splitting up or are you staying together?
I think
Uh,
Barney would be fine with splitting up because
Yeah.
he doesn't want to go in the magic near the magic person.
yeah, I think Rudar also kind of wants to explore a tiny bit as well.
Okay. Then you see Haskar says, "Very well, follow me," and he turns around, and as he does, he splits into two people, and and one like beckons you, Barney, and the other one beckons you, Rulara.
Okay, well, I'll see you later.
Barney
Delicate.
squints his eyes and does the double point at his eyes and then waves it around everywhere and just says, "Magic everywhere. Keep yourself on guard."
What's
Follows
Rohan
after the
doing?
Dunno.
Is he
Probably gonna go
going-
eat at a restaurant.
I mean, yeah, you could leave straight away and go to the restaurant if you want. It's pretty close.
Just doesn't think he has much to do. He might just follow someone else.
Yeah. So
Whereas Rular, he doesn't know much about magic.
yeah, Rulara's going to see Proconsul Gadrick Main, who's the courtly wizard who teleported you here.
Oh, I don't want to see him again.
Yeah, so Barney's going to see Master Armourer Millie Metalbreaker, who is the quartermaster of Starhaven.
Is there anything else they would have mentioned that he could have been into?
He would have mentioned that he's got a if you'd asked, he would have mentioned he's got like a museum of various different artifacts.
Oh no.
What
Not a
else?
museum.
Yeah. I mean,
Hot box room.
he would say
Yeah.
you could go have a observe the grand dining room if you wanted to go look at that.
Is there like a big pond anywhere?
There is Lake Brow, which is literally a huge. I'll take you to the map just so you can see.
But it's not within the grounds of where everyone else is exploring, right?
No. You would see if you've got So I'll reveal the name of both Starhaven, and then you've got Lake Brow there on the top right of the map. if you can see that.
Uh,
I got you the right one.
okay. What's this?
That would be like a smaller lake within the grounds that you
Yeah,
could go visit.
he'd just walk along the lake and be like talking to himself, like
Yeah,
lighting up a little cigarette, and then lying down and being like, "What a day!"
he would also have told you about the Grand Hedge Maze that's on the northeastern side of Starhaven.
Oh, if he knew about that, he'd randomly
Oh
walk
my
around the
God.
lake and be like, "Oh, this is nice," and then after having a nap, would go to the hedge mage, and he's like, "You only live once, man," and just walk into it.
Oh my God. He's fucking dead. He's gone.
Amazing.
Never see him again.
So, Rohan's going to explore the hedge maze. So we'll start with let's start with Barnabaeus, I reckon. So you head down into the depths of Starhaven, heading the Haskell, the butler leads you down a number of different rotating spiral stairs, leading you think even sort of underground into sort of halfway beneath in this this asteroid, sort of going down hundreds of feet. Eventually arriving at like a large open room with a huge forge on sort of the left hand side as you come in. There's a number of different tables, and there's like different items and weapons adorned across the walls. The chamber sort of opens up more on the right side to have a number of different sort of workbenches and tables, and you can see that there's like a locked door off to the side with that looks like it probably contains a number of different weapons and magic items and things of that nature. In the center you see that there is a grey-skinned, like bald, rugged duergar who's currently wearing like a welding mask, and her skin is like even blackened, with the grey skin is even further blackened as well from the soot of the forge, and is currently doing something within the forge. But Elna, seeing Haskell, she kind of lifts up the welding mask and kind of like rolls her eyes slightly at seeing Haskell and says, "Right, what do you want?" And Haskell says, Miss Metalbreaker, I'm here on behalf of Prince Andrew. This is one of the guests that he has rewarded in agreeing to assist the prince in a matter of royal importance. And, you are to provide him with a reward, a magic item as a reward. She kind of sighs slightly and then kind of like chucks her like tongs on the side of the thing, throws off the welding mask, and says, "Right, come on in then." And she goes into this back room and like sort of brings out this this big case of things and says, "Right, I can part with a few different items at the moment. The name's Millie, by the way. What's your name?"
Barnabaeus.
Nice to meet you, Barnabaeus.
It's quite the setup you have here.
Have I lagged out again? Fuck's sake. I'm so sorry. My internet is absolutely shitting the bed this evening.
Having a poop.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything you said, Tom. I'm sorry.
It's alright. He just said, my name's Barnabaeus. I like your setup here. Weapons are cool, and I prefer firearms if you have anything firearm related.
The closest thing I've got to firearms is I've got a javelin of lightning. And she kind of like pulls out this javelin.
It's not really a firearm, but something, I suppose. What else do you have?
I've got a
rattling around.
I've got a set of gauntlets of ogre power.
Ooh.
I've got some glamoured studded leather. I've got a +2 shield.
Meh.
And I've got a brass horn of Valhalla.
What does that do?
The brass horn of Valhalla piqued your interest in it. Let Natalie quickly look it up again because it was a while ago. Horn of Valhalla. Maybe. She would tell you that you can use an action to blow this horn. In response, warrior spirits from the Valhalla appear within 60 feet of you. They use the statistics of a berserker. They return to Valhalla after 1 hour or when they drop to 0 hit points. Once you use the horn, it can't be used again until 7 days have passed. 4 types of horns of Valhalla are known to exist, each made of a different metal. The horn's type determines how many berserkers it answer its summons, as well as the requirement for its use. So a brass one requires proficiency with all simple weapons, so any of you better use it. And it summons 3d4 plus 3 berserkers.
Oh my god. I mean...
And if you blow the horn without meeting its requirement, the summoned berserkers attack you.
Oh shit.
But I think all of you would be alright with just simple weapons.
I'll have that one, please.
Yeah, she would hand it over as well. She would at some point during this she would shoo off Haskell, who's just like, oh, very well, and kind of walk to the bottom of the stairs, and she would say, I could are you in the business of doing favors at all?
Potentially. Depends what that entails.
She kind of looks around, side eyes a little bit, and says, well, it would entail me giving you an extra 2 magic items.
Right. But you haven't yet told me what this would be. I'm not agreeing to anything until I know what it is.
There's she kind of looks at you suspiciously, she's really eyeing you up, but she also clearly wants something out of you, and she sort of says, I've been informed that the prince wants to send you to Topola the wizard.
Yes.
Well, there's been sightings of a man, well, you can hardly call him a man. He's a vampire on the edge of our particular wild space system, and I happen to know that Topola is an old flame of his, and they may have evidence of this particular man's location. Grimzod Garganhale is his name. I don't know where he is, but I want you to find him and kill him.
It's a pirate, a criminal,
She nods.
and a vampire.
She nods again.
What's your issue with this, Grimzod?
It's a personal matter.
I will keep an eye out.
Well, should you do so and come back, I can give you another 2 magic items. Or if you want to take 2 now and sign a contract.
Oh, no, I will not be signing anything, thank you. There's much too many details left up in the air. But I will keep your idea in mind. I've got my eye on those gauntlets. They look like a good fit. But no contract for now. But what manner of proof would you wish for should we run into this Grimzod?
His head.
Oh, right. I suppose it's very to the point. Well, thank you for the horn. It looks a bit like a blunderbuss, I suppose. And I will keep your vendetta in mind. Should he step a foot wrong or cross our path in ill meeting, then perhaps you'll have your grisly trophy.
I appreciate it. Good day. And she grabs the welding mask, pulls it back down, grabs the tongs, and gets back to work at the forge. So yeah, you can add a brass horn of Valhalla.
Oh, I have. Very, very cool.
Yeah, and I assume Barney's going back to Haskell and heading back up the stairs whilst we cut over to Rulara, who is also led by Haskell, up to a place called Froon Spire, one of the spires of Starhaven, up a long, winding circular staircase, much like Barney, but almost completely opposite going down. So it's a lot more tiring for you going up, although Barney's about to experience that going back up himself. But you're eventually led to a large sort of chamber at the very tippy top of this spire. It's a very traditional wizard's lab. There would be lots of tables of alchemical ingredients, huge bookcases full of various different books. There's different wands and staffs that are hanging from a coat rack at the side, with a number of different hats on different coat racks as well, and robes on different coat racks. You see the wizard you saw earlier is standing at the center, and he's currently looking over a bubbling cauldron, and he's kind of looking into it, and he kind of looks down, and then it kind of starts steaming too hard, and he's like, "Oh, drat, drat, drat!" Sort of starts smacking the side of it, getting quite irritated, and then looks up and sees Haskell and says, "Oh dear, it's you. What do you want?" And Haskell says, "Introducing Rulara, guest of the Prince Andrew of the Curzar bloodline. She is here to speak with you and on providing of perhaps favor or interest in the arcane." And he says, and it's just fine. Can't get any work done around here with all these interruptions today. What was your name again? As he sort of comes up to you, Rulara. You there, Hannah? Someone walked in again. Or have I lagged out again?
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Where is she?
Never mind, it was me.
You there? You're there now. Okay, cool. Did you hear what I said?
No.
So the wizard would have asked what your name was.
Yeah. It's Rulara. The guy did say about the prince thing, didn't he?
Yes, he would have said you come here seeking any help in the arcane matters and things like that. We've introduced you. He says, "Very well, you're here to study the arcane, are you?
I am, and just want to say what an impressive collection you have.
Yes, it's very impressive, isn't it? He kind of looks over at you, and then suddenly, like, Ickle crawls out across your shoulder, and he says, "My goodness! A giant miniature space hamster!" And suddenly his expression goes from being really dour, irritated, and there's a big smile across his face. And,
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a long-winded name. We just call him Ickle.
ah, yes, he's lovely, a very rare breed. I have quite the collection myself. And he kind of like walks up to this other side of the room and pulls this lever, and the wall kind of like spins slightly with this magical essence, and then it reveals this huge like loads of different cages with different breeds of giant miniature space hamsters inside, almost up to 100 different breeds across this huge wall with these like interweaving tunnels and things like that. He says, "Yes, he would fit quite well in. I've not seen one of his breed before. I've got a number of different breeds. I'll 500 gold pieces."
I think he's quite happy out here on my shoulder. Thanks.
Oh, he's not for sale?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, that's disappointing. Very well, I will not press the matter further. However, since you do have an interest in the arcane, and perhaps you're interested in my particular line of research.
Depends what it is.
He kind of leans in slightly, looks at Haskell, like, eyes him over your shoulder, and then looks back at you and says, "My research currently involves the fusing of humanoid and space hamster together."
Why am I not surprised?
It's currently in early stages though. It's very experimental.
It sounds it. I'm afraid that part of it doesn't really interest me. I'm more
You don't want to combine your abilities? It wouldn't be permanent. It'd be a temporary thing. For about an hour, yes, an hour. You could fuse with your little giant friend, miniature giant friend here, and yes, you'd have quite a powerful little cocktail.
Why don't you show me?
Do a persuasion check.
Yeah.
18's pretty good. He says, "Well, yes, I could show you, no problem." And he he goes into one of the cages. He sort of like brings a little treat with him, and he's like, "Here you go, pumpkin," and sort of lowers this little bit of like fruit in, kind of takes it, and he kind of scoops this little hamster up, and then brings her over, and then he puts her on this table, this like big kind of like this almost like electrical kind of sort of what they call those rings. Oh, fuck's sake! I'm so bad at remembering names for stuff when I'm DMing. I can't remember what they're called, but like an electrical kind of Frankenstein-esque kind of device above it, and sort of puts on the table this little hamster's chewing up, and then he goes and stands on the other one, which is like this other thing. Can you roll me a D100?
Yeah. 25.
So check what this does. So you see as the like things made to light up, this like electricity like moving around the things, and suddenly both of them are shocked with electricity, and both of them disappear and are gone for like 30 seconds. And then suddenly they appear in front of you, and you see Gaderick Main now is no longer humanoid, but like a humanoid rat, like hamster man, and says, "Did it work?"
Something's worked. Does it usually work like that?
Not quite. Oh, something's gone wrong. And he kind of
Oh,
starts
gosh.
he starts trying to cast a spell and he's like, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah, yes. Well, it sort of worked. What do you think?
I think it's awful. What have you done?
Well, the fusing doesn't use. I don't think it's supposed to be this permanent.
What happened to Pumpkin? She kind of just like covers Ickle's eyes.
Well, he's somewhere.
Inside me.
Jesus.
Somewhere in here. And like taps his head. Not sure where, but I mean, usually my he kind of starts getting the research books out, and he's like, I could have sworn I got it right this time, and would have thought that the mixture would have maintained both our consciousnesses, but it seems only mine has remained. So want to pop little Ickle on the thing and give it a whirl?
No. She kind of just picks up Ickle and puts him in her bag instead.
Oh, how boring! You're really boring.
And you're eccentric.
Well, I can offer you some spell scrolls if you like.
Now we're done with the hamster
I feel like you've just made me
transformation.
Just take him with you. Mine now. My hamster.
Oh, gosh. All these things you've got going on in here, and you want just to give me some spell scrolls. You gotta have something better than that.
Nope. You can transform into a hamster if you want.
Do it. Become
Man.
Ickle.
I'm really wondering about this fucking alliance now, if this guy's considered inner circle.
No. I'm good, so I guess I'll just take the scrolls.
Very well.
Will you rub my belly for me?
Yeah, he is kind of like, because he's more of like a hamster man than a rat man, so he's got like his belly kind of slightly sticking out of his robes and stuff now. Let me see quickly what spells.
Is he eyeing up the hamster treats?
Yes, definitely. Like he's kind of like staring over them occasionally, like, "Oh, those look quite nice. Maybe I'll have one of those later." He would give you, he'd give you an option. You can take 3 spells from the 3rd level wizard spell list. So you can take any 3 spells, spell scrolls.
Cool. Nice.
So you've got animate. Well, there's a bit. I'll give you a list here. There's a big list. So.
Does he have stuff for like copying it in to look?
Oh yeah, he'd give you ink and stuff like that, and parchment paper if you wanted to do that.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do that. 3 3rd level, you say?
Yeah, 3 3rd level spells you can copy in, or just take the spell scrolls and use them. But I assume you'd probably want to copy them in.
Yeah, probably. Cool.
Very well, off with you, child.
Do you want me to tell someone about this?
No, it's fine. I'll sort it out. Don't worry.
Are you
Going
gonna
to
need?
post about it on my forum.
Do you want someone to bring you some? I don't know, antidote or?
No, it's all part of the process.
Okay. Yeah, I guess she just leaves.
As you like sort of head down the stairs with Haskell, you just hear like a big explosion kind of from the cauldron up above, and he's like, "Blast, blast, not again!" So you continue walking down, and then as Rulara and Barnabas converge down the stairs, we jump to Rohan, who is currently within the hedge maze.
Yeah.
So you're walking, you're kind of quite chilled out after your brief little nap by the water. So you're just sort of wandering with a little doobie in his mouth throughout this tall hedge maze. It's about sort of 10 feet high on either side.
He's not looking for a way out. He's doing it very chill. Just walking
Yeah.
around like, and if he gets to a dead end, he's like, oh, and like turns around and just goes back the same way.
You got me, man.
Can you roll me a D100? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you get? A 3. Let's have a look. So you turn a corner at one point, and you see this huge, bear-like man who just kind of walks towards you, and is like, "Whoa, what are you doing in here?"
I just came for a little walk, man. Ended up in here. Don't know what to tell you. Name's Rohan, by the way. I'm from Undercliff Village. What about yourself?
Oh, my name's Big Steve.
Alright. Makes sense. You're big. Your name's Steve, I assume.
It is, yeah. What are you doing back here?
Just chilling out.
Oh, same. I'm on break.
How long have you been on break, Steve?
He kind of like looks down at his fingers and it's like, like a couple of hours.
Nice. You want to follow me around this hedge, mate? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, sounds good. What you got there? Kind of points down to the little doobie you've got.
Oh, man. It's just a scrag end. You can have it if you want. He, like, gives it to him.
Oh, thanks, man.
You just suck on it, blow it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just like, sounds good to me. And he just starts sort of sucking on this cigarette and just, as you trot around the maze with him a little bit, and roll another D100 for me.
Who is this guy? 38.
38.
Watching the formation of a new Scooby-Doo gang.
You both, you and Big Steve, round the corner, and you see this this man standing in the middle, and there's like a tree, and it's like a circular point in the maze, like an opening, a center. And there's a tree in the middle, and there's like this man wearing like a plaid shirt and a set of jeans with his the arms rolled up. He's got like a thick beard, and he's got an axe, and he's just like chopping away at the tree in the center.
He'd be like, whoa, man. Hedge maze. You meant to be using an axe? I think that's cheating.
I've got to get the tree down.
Cool.
What
Need any help with that?
Yeah, help me chop the tree down. Yeah.
Does it look like it's a tree or part of a maze?
No, it's like a tree in the. So imagine you go into like a circular bit in the maze, and you get to a point, it opens up, and there's literally a tree that's in the center of the maze, like in the center of this bit of the maze. And he's like, he's just chopping at it.
It's like, well, I don't have any weapons to be any help, but I can try and chop it down with this morning star. And he like pulls out a morning star.
Yeah, chop it down. Yeah. He's like, Big Steve looks down. He's like, I think you should chop it down, man.
Alright, I'm gonna fucking hit it with this morning star. What more do you want? Jeez! And he just like starts hitting it.
Make an attack roll for me.
What the fuck?
5. It's not a big hit, so he's hit into it. It's just not very hard. And he's like, "You're not chopping hard enough. You're not chopping hard enough."
I mean, it's not chopping either. This is a bludgeoning weapon, man.
Rubbish! Get out of here! You're no use. Neither of you.
Alright. don't get all hoity-toity to me. I'm not the one cheating in the maze using an axe.
Gotta chop it down. Gotta chop it. Chop, chop, chop. Just keeps chopping at the tree.
As he walks away, he's like to Big Steve, well, at least that guy has a hobby.
Yeah, at least he's employed. It's hard for some people to be employed, you know.
You said you're on break.
Did I?
Hey man, I can employ you if you need a job.
Oh yeah, I can do anything. I can fix stuff. I can make stuff. I can cook stuff.
How does 1 silver a day sound?
Yeah, I can do press-ups.
Nice. Well, better get started then. And he gives him a silver piece.
Whoa,
that's yours for today.
My first ever earnings, man. That's great. Let's keep going.
Oh, is this guy going to be like, this is way too much responsibility?
Probably another D100. 97. So you come around the corner, and there's another opening again, similar to the one you saw before, with a tree in the centre again. But now you see the body of the man before, the lumberjack man, is just on the floor, and it's like rotted, like almost completely.
Oh my god.
Like almost like I imagine it's been here like 100 years. It's just a complete skeleton, and the Big Steve's like, "I don't look good." And then you see the tree, and like it's got a face on it now that looks just like your face, Rohan. And it's like, he kept chopping me, man. I couldn't. You couldn't help it, man. I had to do something.
Nah, man, I don't blame you, man. Like, should have been chopping you, you know.
No, man. I don't like it when I get chopped, man. It's awful, man.
Glad we're in the same wavelength, man. Now, can you point us the way out of here?
I can show you if you like.
It's even better, man.
And it's like his branch just kind of reached down and like push himself out of the ground, and he's got these 2 little feet, like human feet, on the bottom of the tree. And he's like, "This way, man. I'll show you the way."
Would the axe be on the floor?
It would be, actually, yeah.
Rohan would pick it up and be like, "No more chopping in this hedge maze," and put it on his back.
Yeah, you can add just add a great axe to your inventory if you want. Yeah, and Big Steve's like, "I like this guy. We should follow him." And you follow Big Steve and this tree with your face on it around the maze. And roll another D100 for me.
Okay.
82. As you get to the as it gets to this part of the maze, it opens up again in the circular area, but where it's very similar looking to the place you saw before, but there's no tree or body this time, and instead there's this huge gold dragon that sits in the center, just completely motionless. And as you look closer, you actually see the body of the dragon is completely like a statuette, it's completely like almost encased in this like crystalline statue.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that looks weird, man. Yeah, that looks weird, man. What are you gonna do about it? The sort of tree turns to you with your face and is kind of staring at you. And
I don't think I have to do anything about it, man. Like, it looks pretty cool chilling right there.
Maybe you should go touch it, man.
What? I mean, why?
What if it feels good, man?
I mean, you make a good point. He's gonna go touch it.
So yeah, you walk up and you begin touching the statue, and as you do, it starts like shining with this golden light, and then suddenly it like transforms, and the golden dragon is actually there, and it's like you just hear a voice that's like, "Thank you for freeing me, man." And then it's like neck comes around, and it's like your face on the end of the dragon,
It's just like, don't worry about it, man. That's what I'm here for, apparently.
I'll show you the way out, man. It's this way. And he
Oh, sweet.
so you like walking through the hedge maze, and eventually you like come to the end, and you sort of walk out the hedge maze, and you go to turn around, sort of thank your companions, and they're gone.
Just looks back and he's like, oh man, that was gnarly. Well, better go tell my friends.
So you all reconvene in Starhaven, and once more reunited, as you all gather things in your experiences, and yeah, you're reunited outside of Starhaven, and you can choose what you want to do next. What do you guys do?
Now, Rohan, I've been meaning to have a word about your proclivities. And if you're going to insist on continuing to smoke certain substances and do certain things, then, well, you've got to expect to have a few strange moments where you think you're seeing a dragon with your face. And
Oh, don't worry, man. I gave it to Big Steve in the maze. I wasn't smoking any recently.
Right, Big Steve. Right. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Look, got this axe! And he'd pull the axe out, if he has it.
It would be there.
Yeah, I got this in the maze. There was the guy trying to chop me down, but me as a tree, and then I found it. Why else would there be an axe in the hedge maze, man? Other from chopping down errant trees, which shouldn't be there, huh?
Right. Well, I got this. Need to show the brass horn.
Is it a gun?
It looks quite a lot like a gun, which is nice, but no, apparently or any of us can blow into it like a horn. And,
What if you suck it?
Whoa, I didn't ask. Let's save that for a desperate situation. But it summons berserkers. Can help us, so be quite useful. How did things go with you, Rulara? Meet any dragons or trees with your face?
Not with my face, but there's certainly some hamsters. Pulls out Ickle. But
Oh, did I lag out again? I did. Fuck me, stupid internet.
Prairie issue.
I wonder how they'll feel about being ambassadors.
Yes, I'm expecting mixed responses.
Sorry, I did lag out again, so if there's anything I need to know, then...
No, having a little chat about how we're going to tell the crew that they're ambassadors now.
Yeah.
And heading back to the ship.
So you're heading back to the ship, straight back to the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so upon arrival at the docks, you you could easily find the is it moon dance? I keep fucking forgetting what it's called now.
Yeah. Moon dancer.
And there would be a little sort of royal patrol for the docks now. But excuse me, I'm really gassy. As the group saw you, they would sort of excitedly start waving. You hear a distant "Lou, Lou, Lou, that's the Lou," and they would all kind of run to the front of the ship and say, Micken would approach you, Barnabas, say, "Captain, they told us what happened. We thought you'd been arrested. We were going to mutiny against the entire rock, but well, they kind of slapped me."
Who slapped you, Micken?
"That guard over there," and he kind of points at this guard who's kind of got his back face to you.
Barney would hobble over with his cane and tap the guy on the shoulder.
He says, "Yes, citizen."
"Apparently you slapped one of my crew."
"Well, he did try and punch me."
Micken, is this true?
Well, we were trying to get through the streets to get to you, Captain. You thought you'd be wrongfully imprisoned."
Well, your instincts weren't wrong. I'll have an apology from you, Micken, to this fine guard, and I'll have an apology from this guard to you, Micken.
Sorry, sir. Do a persuasion check for the guard. Or intimidation, if you'd like. Because you're pretty fucking big.
Oh my god.
He kind of just looks and he says, "I don't really think I've got anything to apologise for. He tried to punch me first."
Well...
Lucky I didn't arrest him.
Yeah, but you are quite lucky, Micken, to be honest. I don't know what you were thinking. Can we at least say that this is behind us now?
Yeah, Micken, you should have just, magic missiled him and he'd be dead. And you would have been arrested.
He kind of looks down, slightly ashamed as Sorian says this, and the guard just says, "You're under royal protection. As far as the matter's concerned, it's over."
Alright, good enough for me. Right, aboard the ship, Micken.
"Yes, Captain." And then Fred comes up and is like, Lou, where's Vina, Lou?
We have some awful news.
Lou.
She decided that,
Nope. Yeah, Barney just says that. Nope. But there is a glimmer of hope, Fred, and everything will be. We're going to work towards everything being okay. But I don't want to tell this story 10 times. So let's gather everyone together on the deck.
He starts sort of shouting like, Lou, all come together, Lou. And like Click kind of calmly walks up and sort of bows to Barnabas and the rest of you. You see Flapjack kind of rise from below with Bingo Mingo following closely behind. You see Whizpop, who's like starts sprinting out like he's like Chance at the end of Homeward Bound, running towards his owner, and it's like, Captain! We thought you were done for, Captain. I held down the ship just like you asked. I made sure everyone scrubbed the decks and, yes, all the other jobs that need doing.
Well, Whizpop, we have poor Vina to thank for us being alive and well as we are now. But everybody, thank you for your concern and your efforts, see, cocks an eyebrow at Micken, to wrest control of the entire Rock of Brawl from the parties involved, but
Yes, it was
the
my
most
idea,
important
Captain.
news-
I put together the grand scheme, but yes, I decided against it at the end, really. And as the overwhelming forces, we thought we'd make sure the ship was ready once we knew you'd overpower them and return.
Well, your enthusiasm is appreciated as ever, Wizpop, but we were ambushed by members of the Xerixian Empire, and after a bloody and swift battle in the streets, in which many citizens actually fell to, but our own Vina was cut down by the cowards that had ambushed us. But, he holds up a hand, we have done a deal with Prince of House
Koza.
Koza. He has assured me that his cleric can raise our trusty Vina, but is currently the cleric is away from here. So, as part of the deal, we will be acting as ambassadors, envoys, to work against the Xerixian Empire and unite the various factions of Doom Space and ourselves against them. So, crew of the Moon Dancer, we have a higher purpose calling us now, and in the name of our lost friends at the Academy and fallen Vina, and all those who stand against the Xerixian Empire, we must succeed in our mission.
Bingo puts his hand up.
Yes, bingo.
And what's the Plebeian Empire all about then? Never heard of them.
The Xerixian Empire.
Yeah, that one.
They, well, kind of stumbles over his own words. Rulara, you're knowledgeable in this regard.
I was not.
Roll a history check if you want.
Come on, brains.
Go on, brain.
Natural one, nice.
Oh my, literally cursed.
You know they're bad. You know they attacked your planet. You know all the stuff Prince Andrew said about them. So I'm not going to call him that, actually. Prince of House Kozar said about them. You know that they attacked in this region before during his father's reign. He said that. You know that the prince considered them quite aggressive and like barbarous people. You know that they formed a recent agreement with House Kozar not to attack the Rock, as long as they had some kind of they weren't, as long as Xerixian blood wasn't spilt on the Rock. But obviously that's been like fucked over now. You would know they're attacking with these astral seeds that you would have said about, and it's causing the astral vines to burst out of the ground. They've attacked other places in the past, but in this region the only places they've attacked are Toriel, and you didn't ask where else they attacked, so you know, just in the region somewhere.
I'm afraid not much, everyone.
Alright, Math, I'll get the general gist, I think.
But yeah, they're
They're
bad.
like the baddies.
Exactly.
Well, I can't wait to go to this Doom Space place. It sounds like a real adventure. Yes, it sounds like a real adventure, Captain.
Was it hard to get to?
Flapjack will come up at this point and say, Doom Space, it is another wild space system. much like our own, but let me clarify. Is anyone familiar with how the wild space systems work within the astral sea?
Yeah, man.
Would you like to explain, Mr. Moonriver?
Well, you see, the thing is, everybody, there's lots of different astral planes, as they were, and they're all joined by links of string. I mean, you gotta find a string, travel down a string. I mean, sometimes that's pretty hard because there's a lot of shit in the way. Isn't that right, Flapjack or something?
Well, that's not quite exactly the best analogy I would use, but I would describe each wild space system as an island in the sea, and within each island is a smaller sea of its own, each with smaller islands. An island such as Toril or the Rock. Another wild space system is another island, let's say, within the astral sea. We would have to travel through the astral sea to reach the wild space system, or, in my analogy, island of doom space, where there are a number of other islands within.
Exactly as I said.
I hope that makes sense, Captain.
Yes, very, very good. It's good for us all to understand a bit more about how it all works.
But Mr. Moonriver was not incorrect that the astral sea is known as having a number of different obstacles. It could be quite dangerous out there. Many have described it as the graveyard of dead gods.
Wow.
So it will be quite a dangerous mission.
And then only you can hear this, Barney, because he telepathically communicates. He says,
Captain, you may wish to consider the danger of this mission and how you might want to. This may be your last chance to have the crew disembark and get themselves out of danger, if that is something you wish to do, as the journey from here on out will surely only seem more dangerous than before.
Barney's eyes would be going a bit wider as he's hearing this in his head. Then he'd kind of swivel on the spot and hold up a hand behind him to the crew on the deck. Just a moment, faithful crew. Rulara, Rohan, we've got some
Wizpop's
serious...
coming in and leaning in slightly, doing the huddle.
Wizpop, perhaps you could fetch my favorite hat from my cabin. I don't really feel like
yes,
captain
of
without
course.
my hat.
Yes. Out the way, everyone! I'm fetching the captain's hat!
It's sort of like...
I don't have a hat. Yes. So, Flapjack just told me in my head, which I will never get used to, that we should seriously consider encouraging some of our crew to perhaps disembark, as it's likely to get a lot more dangerous than it has been already during our journey. And
did you propose anyone in particular?
no, I didn't poke further, but we could think about well, it's difficult. I felt like if I had simply said that to everyone, they would be very loyal, especially when they're in each other's presence, and I appreciate that, but
Maybe you should ask them individually, Captain.
like interviews, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm already on this crazy train, and I'm not getting off unless I'm dead.
Which we've been already.
Yeah. Again.
Dead again.
Maybe let the ones that you want to disembark off easy. Maybe they can be waiting for us here.
That's true. We could give them something, a mission. Keep them occupied here. Yes, I think I can do that. Thank you both. All right. He turns back round. Well, we'll considering our new mission, I will be conducting individual briefings to make sure everyone's fully aware of the expectations and requirements as we move forward. But for now, we're going to set off and begin. Wait, no, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to take on supplies. So hold tight, everyone. But if you could all do a good job of checking everything, making sure our inventory is all set straight and all the parts of the ship are working properly and all of that. And I'll send Wizpop to you, to each of you, so you know when to come to my cabin for your briefing. Yes.
Okay, so for the sake of brevity, because there's a point I've got in mind I want to get to before we finish for this evening, we won't roleplay out each individual scene, but I will say to you now that everyone would want to come with you because they are like extremely loyal.
Yeah.
But that ultimately it's really down to you guys if you want to bring them with you, and obviously I will say as DM it is going to get more dangerous from here on out. So
Yeah.
Does
Who's the
Go on,
weakest?
No, you go, Kieran.
I was going to be like, is there anyone who's slightly more hesitant?
I mean, just probably purely Fred because he's like anxious, but also he would still be very loyal in his own way. He wouldn't.
Mikan is coming, I think, because he's a powerful magic user guy.
Yeah, Mick
I think for Fred, they should stay at home because he's a level 2.
Mm-hmm. So Fred's staying. I mean, unless anyone else disagrees.
Cricklet is debatable.
No, I don't disagree. My question was going to be: does Barney have a decent read on the relative strengths of each?
100% you would. You can look at all their character sheets and see their sort of levels. You're obviously I know it's meta, but your characters would know that from being in combat with them. You'd have a good understanding of their skill level.
Wizpop is going to die in one hit because he's a level 2.
But
he does
Wizpop
have
has
4.
to come.
Well, yeah, Wizpop. I don't think Barney's going to be able to get rid of Wizpop.
I think Wizpop would if you suggested him saying would, unless the only way I think you could get him to stay and be happy is if you get like appointed him some kind of like promotion that's like
I kind of just want to keep him in my cabin.
You certainly could do so.
Wizpop, you are the steward of my chambers.
So we could have Cricklet and Fred stay home then? Or Cricklet's debatable though, because he's level 4.
Yeah, Cricklet's level 4. But I don't want to leave Fred alone. Maybe Cricklet would be quite good as a capable companion.
Did we kick Micken off?
No.
Mechan's a sick
Level
level
6.
spellcaster.
Yeah, but he is also still a traitor.
Filthy traitor.
He's trying to make up for it, but he's been a bit desperate about it.
I like him. Keeping him. Level 6.
I think it'll be good to have some backup.
To be honest, I don't mind if Micken dies, so it probably is good keeping him.
Oh.
Flapjack would 100% stay because Flapjack's kind of like tied to the ship.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
he
can
can't
Flapjack
really leave.
die?
I mean, you don't know for certain, but if you asked him, he would say there is like a magical, I wouldn't say a curse, but there's some kind of magical thing that he doesn't even fully understand that is tying him to the ship.
Okay.
Part of the ship, part of the crew, kind of like.
I feel like it's a pretty clear. Fred and Cricklet are the shore party.
Yeah, because Fred can't die.
Yeah, and
Fred is not allowed to die.
yeah, and it will be super satisfying if we're successful and we come back and hear the loo 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 from the shore.
Plus, they can get Vina back in good.
Yes. So yeah, Barney would, in all seriousness, say to them like, I want a presence here. This is a new deal we've made. I want you to keep your ear to the ground, get yourselves situated here on the rock. And he would use the sending stone to say to
Haskell.
Pascal that he expects Fred and Quicklet to be taken as, not living life's a luxury, but
Taken
have some
care of.
accommodation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't want to say taken care of because it could be interpreted differently.
No, yeah.
I'll have them taken care of.
I get you.
And yeah, he just says to the two of them that he knows how loyal they are and he appreciates everything they've done so far, and he trusts them with keeping the Moon Dancer's presence here in the big city.
They would both actually be pretty understanding and agree, especially Cricklet, who is quite sort of more serious. She's definitely would be very understanding, and Fred would be quite sad to say goodbye to all of you, but would also sort of is also kind of relieved at the idea of not going to Doom Space because it sounds scary. Cool. So they will disembark as you head out from the Rock of Brow. Unless there's anything else you want to do in the meantime. Your goodbyes would all be very lovely and sweet. Oh, for fuck's sake, I've disconnected again! This internet. Super frustrating. Oh, sorry. The fucking internet tonight is so shit.
Yeah, your last word was she's.
Yes, a Cricklet is very understanding, and she's very she's very sort of professional and totally gets where you're coming from, and she's happy to sort of take charge and sort of this situation. But Fred would definitely be more sad to say goodbye to you all, but also is kind of relieved that he doesn't have to go into Doom Space where it's more dangerous. So
makes sense.
So that you'd get a very emotional goodbye as you head off from the Rock of Brown. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before? Go on.
Rayhan would have one thing. As he's leaving Fred, he'd be like, Fred, we all love Winston so much. You should look after his cookbook. So it doesn't get lost in deep space.
Thanks, Rohan. I'll look after it real good, Lou.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Fred. I really appreciate it.
He kind of goes to give you a little high five.
Yeah, he gives him a high five.
Yeah.
Now down low.
And he goes down low and misses you slightly.
Hey.
Can we get sending stones for them and between us?
You got a sending stone to Haskell, but you could probably communicate from him to them. That's certainly not impossible.
Oh, can we get our own? How much are they? I don't know how much they are.
God, a sending stone yourself. Let's have a quick gander. At their rarity, sending stone 5e. Yeah, uncommon magic items are usually, I think it would be on the lower end price. So uncommon. Where do I find? There we go. Uncommon. I think it'd only probably be about 150 gold pieces. Based on this magic item rarity table.
Yeah, let's do that then. Let's get some.
Yeah,
sending stone.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Cool.
Nice.
Take off 115.
Can you get a sending stone between Wizpop and Barney?
If you want to pay.
Nope.
Can Rohan buy that?
Barney doesn't carry sending stones because they're magical. And Barney
Ah,
only carries
could-
magical things if they're a gun or armor.
he could have a stone, and he could have a sending stone on a stone, like a hand, like an old person phone. No.
And
Right.
obviously, have they got money of their own? Like, get somewhere to live while they're here?
Yeah, well, Barney said he'd contacted Haskell, who
Right.
would have said he would take care of them. So, not in that way. Look after them is a better way to put it. So that they'll have lodgings and stuff, and so you won't have to worry about them in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you set off from the docks, an emotional farewell to your friends, setting off towards Topola the Wizard's Tower. After about a day's travel aboard the Moondancer, so you can all take a long rest. Rohan,
Mm-hmm.
you begin to feel this. Hold on, let me. You begin to feel this calling through space. Like a voice on the wind. You just hear Rohan. And you feel this intense urge to travel to the Moon of Toriel saloon. Would you go to Barney and what would you do?
You'd go to Barney, and he'd just go in and be in his really long t-shirt that he wears to bed, and he's like, "Barney, man, we gotta go to the moon, man."
Whoa, Rohan. Is this Big Steve telling you where you need to go?
No, it's voice in my dream, you gotta go to the moon of Toro, man, and I feel it in my bones. So I'm in there.
Oh, well, how far away is Toril from where we are?
Probably about half a day's travel.
Well, all right, Rohan. If you say so. We've been through a lot together. Consider this a moment of trust.
Let's just say you've repaid me for saving my life. Oh, your life, I mean.
No, that debt remains forever. But Flapjack, make oh, is it Rulara driving the ship right now?
They're always both sort of in the cockpit, I imagine.
Rulara, Flapjack, we need to make for the moon of Torel.
Right you are, Captain.
Can I ask why?
Well, you'd be asking the same question I just asked, but Rohan here says that we need to go there, and it's not too much of a diversion.
So big there, man.
Can Rulo do a history check on what she knows about that moon?
Yeah, do a history check for me. 24. You know that the moon is considered like an aspect of the goddess Saloon. Let me just quickly with a wiki, just so I'm not miss. Just so I'm getting. Just seeing if
Just wants to know if they're just going to a big dust ball or.
I mean, it's
there's
very.
actually something on it.
It's like there was something on it a long time ago, as far as you're aware. You know that it was once home to the Saloonians, a race that Rohan is seemingly a part of. But You know that now it's like supposedly just the Selenians are gone and it's abandoned, and you don't know what's there.
Yeah.
You'd know a
Are
bunch of
you sure we
information.
want to go? There's likely nothing there anymore.
Space voices were calling me, man.
Okay.
This
Hey,
isn't like Steve, man. This is real.
you sure it's not a hallucination?
Well, if it is, it won't take long to check.
Yeah, and as you're saying this, you hear the voice again on the like a calling on the wind, like Rohan.
It's saying, Rohan, come home.
Okay.
So
You just
yeah, go ahead.
veers the ship to the direction they're gonna go.
Yeah, so you move the ship off in the direction and blast the Moon Dancer through space at warp 9 in direction of the Moon of Toriel saloon. And as you come closer, it comes closer and closer into view. Below, you can see Toriel from a distance, and even at this distance, you can very slightly see the crystalline vines that are crackling off of the planet, slowly destroying it beneath. Rohan, the voice becomes louder and louder as you get closer and closer to the moon itself.
Oh, it's getting louder, everyone. I think we're going in the right direction.
And as you get closer, Rohan, the voice kind of becomes more clear, and then it sort of begins to sort of direct you to this point to land upon the moon. It's like, land here, Rohan. Come home.
Rohan would be like, yeah, it's like that way and then that way, and he'd be like next to Rilara, just saying it.
Yeah, you like instinctively just know the way to go. And like,
Better directions of her hand. That way's not helping.
He'd just sort of gesture around like, we're getting close again.
and would you
Just tries to follow.
Yeah, so you follow Rohan's directions, and actually, as you come into range, you slowly begin to descend on the planet that's otherwise a bare moon, much like our own. Rohan, the ship comes low enough that you could sort of jump overboard if you chose to. How would he react? Has my internet died again? For fuck's sake! I'm sick of this fucking computer. Oh my god. So infuriating. Fucking hell.
Else that guy could have turned into the hamster thing.
Oh yeah, that was
disconnected
great.
again. I'm so sorry. Breaking all the atmosphere every time. So you descend on the moon to this point in space that Rohan directs you to, Rulara. And actually, upon descending, you find a small cavern, a cave. The ship now is low enough, Rohan, that if you wanted to, you could jump overboard with ease. Please say I've not disconnected again. Oh my god, I have, haven't I? For fuck's sake. I'm so sorry, guys.
All right.
All right.
I have to probably take it into the repair shop because this is getting really bad, and I've run massively over time, so I do apologise. I'll try and wrap this up as quickly as I possibly can. So you descend on the planet, and you do actually find a deep cavern, and the ship is low enough now, Rohan, that you could jump overboard if you chose to.
Just jump in.
Yeah, you could jump onto the planet, and then the moon is much bare, very similar to our own. And the calling, you can hear it whistling down the cavern, calling out to you, Rohan.
Can you just do that on this moon?
Yeah, no, you would have enough of a oxygen bubble from your Spelljammer itself. It would certainly cover the area.
Ooh, you definitely want to go out and follow it then.
Okay, so Rohan jumps overboard and begins moving towards this voice in the cave. And
Barney follows.
Yeah.
is Rilara following, or is she keeping her distance?
She'll follow, but slightly behind.
Yeah, Flapjack
Well,
takes...
probably with Barney because he's pretty slow.
Yeah. So as Rohan, you get maybe 100 feet into this cavern, you begin to hear the voice loudly now, Rohan!
That's
Rohan!
me!
And you look down at the edge of this cavern, and you see inside this cave and deep into planet, you realise the planet is almost hollow. And below you see a great city that once was the city of the Selunians. And you see the astral vines that all fire up inside it, similar to that of Toril. It seems the Xerixians have been here before.
My saloon, man! Are you seeing what I'm seeing, everyone?
Then Barney and Rilara reach the edge, and you see the same sight of this city, this destroyed city, this once beautiful city.
It's awful.
Yeah, similar fate.
They have to be stopped.
And then, as you hear the voice once more, Rohan, this figure begins flickering in front of you, and you all see this bearded figure floating, his legs crossed in the sky in front of you.
Oh,
with long
yeah.
hair, and he says, Rohan, my son.
Yes.
You're my dad, man!
I am your moon dad, Rohan.
I've waited so long for this day, moon dad. I'm your moon boy, I'm just down here.
Let me tell you, my son, the story of our people. How we were once great and powerful, and our society was way more advanced than any other, man. We lived in relative isolation, dude, and then we had so much peace and love, and it was wonderful beneath the surface.
That sounds so gnarly, man. That sounds great.
We had the power of a small star in here. We powered all the city in our home, all of Saloon, man. But then, the Xerixians, they discovered the source of our power, man. And for some reason, they came and they destroyed us with crystalline vines. And, well, my son, I was the king of the Saloonians, man.
Oh shit, that means I'm like the new king of the Saloonians, right, Dad?
Well, exactly, son, but also, with the last of my power, I didn't just send you, my son. I also sent your sister.
I've got a sister, man! He looks around.
To Undercliff Village, man. I sent both of you, man, to Undercliff Village, where you'd be found and loved. But something went wrong, man, and the Xerixians, they intercepted your sister, man.
What was her name, my man? My dad?
Salunius, man.
That's a pretty gnarly name.
Yeah. Speaking of names, Rohan's actually not your real name, my son. That's just a name that the Undercliff Village guys gave you.
Is it Moon Boy?
Your real name is Moonhan.
I was expecting Saloon Hand, but Moon Hand. Man, Moon Hand! It's been right in front of me all this time.
It has, man. And that means that you're the new king of Saloon, man. You're the last of us. You gotta go rescue your sister.
I'll try, man. If I'm anything like you, I mean, we can do anything. The Moon Hand Moon Rivers.
And he floats towards you and he says, I gift you, my son, Moonhan, this legendary crown of the Saloonians, the Lunar Crown. And he gives you this item.
Oh my god.
Just imagining Barney and Rulara sharing a look at each other, just like, what the fuck?
So I'll read it out. So the crown acts as a spellcasting focus, and once per day, the user can call upon the lunar powers and summon the Moonlight Greatsword for 1 minute.
Oh, sweet.
For 1 minute, their strength is increased to 20. Their eyes and hair glow white, radiating 20 feet of bright and 20 feet of dim light for them, and they are proficient with the Moonlight Greatsword. The Moonlight Greatsword deals an extra 1d6 radiant damage on hit. Once during this minute, the user can use an action to strike out in a 15-foot cone and with a blast of moonlight energy. Any creature within this cone must make a DC 15 dex save or take 4d6 radiant damage and be knocked back 10 feet. When it suggests they take half damage and are not knocked back. And as this crown is placed upon Moonhand's head, Barney and Rulara, you begin to see Rohan transform, and imagine the camera zooms in on him, and as you do, it sort of swoops round this magical energy like leaves in a wind picking up leaves on an autumn day, but all the stones slowly surrounding Rohan with this white lunar energy, and his outfit begins to transform, and suddenly he's wearing this white outfit with a long skirt coming out from it, white sort of elbow pads, and a cuirass of white armor, and Moonhan is finally crowned as the king of Saloon as he brings up the Moonlight Greatsword from the Lunar Crown.
Whoa.
He just turns around to Barney and Rulara. He's like, let's go kick some Saloonian butt.
You mean Xerixian butt?
That's what I said.
And with that, we will end today's session.
So good.
Fuck.
That's so good.
That's good.
Oh,
We were so full of peace and prosperity, man. It was the best of times. It was the moon of times. Oh my god. Holy fuck.
That picture of the dad is so good
Yeah,
as well.
it's perfect.
so fucking stupid.
God, the fucking Moonhand legacy.
God.
I imagine him basically in the She-Ra outfit, Kieran.
Yeah.
Now, when he's got that activated.
It's so fucking funny. Your sister, Salunia, or whatever it is, and you, Moonhand.
Right, that's another name he's got. Rohan, Moonhan, Rune River. What do you mean, Moonhan,
Moonhand, Moon River.
Moonhan, Rohan, Moon River.
There you go. Oh my god, I can't wait to
Looking
meet
out
the
for a
sister.
hero.
And she's just like, Moonhen, you came for me, man. It's so groovy.
I always said I would, even though I didn't know you yet.
By the power of Moonhen, I have the power. Oh my god.
So good.
I'd fucking vote for him. Look at that guy. The king of the Saloonians.
I definitely need to get art of Rohan.
Oh my god, yeah.
One with like
Non-negotiable.
Rohan standing there, but behind him standing Moonhan.
Yeah. Moonhead. Oh my god. No wonder the fucking Xerixians blew them up. Jesus. Imagine trying to be diplomatic with those guys.
Oh dear.
We just want peace and love, man, and be left alone.
Yeah, but this is a trade deal. We want to be able to trade. We don't need anything, man. All anyone needs is peace and love. Oh, fuck!
We want your stuff. Everyone can have the stuff we live here, man.
Yeah, you can't own stuff, man.
Yeah.
The moon is the moon. Oh. Oh, God. Incredible. What a session.
I'm sorry it went over a bit. I just wanted to get to that bit, but the hedge
No, that
maze
was-
dragged
that
it out
was
a bit longer than I thought.
The best 20 minutes ever spent. Holy fuck.
Oh dear. I'm knackered now, Jesus.
Yeah,
Good.
that was a crazy sesh.
Right, I'm gonna go to bed now.
Thanks, Nat.
Yeah, that
That's
was
right.
awesome.
I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you enjoyed
See you
it.
later, everyone.
See you later.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Bye.